now we have Justice League Dark. And this is a stat cast for Justice League Dark. You have the return of all the characters, including Legion Lee as Zatanna, Benjamin Hollingsworth as Superman, Karl Urban as John Constantine, Stefan Kapik as Etrigan, and then joining them you have Roseline and West Side Story actor Kyle Allen as Deadman, John Wick and Deadwood's Ian McShane as Dr. Fate, and you have Cull Obsidian and King Kong himself, Terry Notary, will be joining as the Swamp Thing, and they will be going up against Person of Interest, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, and Lost actor Michael Emerson, who will be playing the evil Felix Faust.
So Justice League Dark follows Superman, weirdly enough, as he's kind of pushed into this world of this magic and mayhem craziness. The story begins with Dr. Fate sensing a disturbance and realizing that there is a new magical threat, Felix Faust, and he poses this grave danger to the world. Fate recognizes that defeating Faust requires more than just Superman, who is the alpha hero right now, alone, and kind of it's revealed to him through his own sorcery and magic that there is a team of heroes, the Justice League Dark, as they will be known, who can stop Felix Faust. However, before Fate can, so then Fate has to kind of summon Superman in to kind of tell him all of this stuff, because Superman obviously can't beat magic people, because Superman's one of his two weaknesses is also magic sometimes, and we're saying that's the case here. So he tries to start explaining this to Superman, and then all of a sudden he is abruptly transported back to his right to a middle of a fight with Faust. And we're not sure why this happens. The implication is that Faust had something to do with it. And so then Superman is determined to protect the balance. Obviously, he can't beat Faust on his own. And so he seeks out John Constantine and the demon Etrigan to join him. Reluctantly, John and Etrigan agree to assist because obviously, coming from a Constantine movie where John Constantine is not like the guy who's going to be like, let's go start a team. It takes him a little bit of convincing to say, okay, you know what? You're right. We have to do this. I'll help you in your mission. Next, Superman has to track down another member of this team, but this man isn't really a man. He's kind of a ghost almost. His name is Deadman, and he currently is possessing a wealthy gambler and convinces him, and in Las Vegas, and so they have to go to Las Vegas and kind of track down this dead man, so to speak, convince him also to join their team, make him promise he'll never inhabit the bodies of any of the members of the team. Meanwhile, Faust takes control of of the renowned monster hunter Hansel, like Hansel and Gretel. It's great. Manipulates him to attack Swamp Thing because he sees the writing on the wall of this weird group of teams, so he has to basically get ahead of it and take down Swamp Thing, who he realizes is going to be one of those members, being one of the few magical beings that are known in the world. Superman and his newly formed team have to kind of get there and then have to fight this monster hunter who is attempting to kill Swamp Thing. And again, you get a little bit of action here before they kind of get the whole team together. And then they realize they need one more piece. They're not ready yet. They're missing one person, and that's Zatanna. So then, obviously, you get the Zatanna end credit scene right here, where they kind of go and she agrees to join their cause. Then, as a united front, they go to confront Felix Faust, who basically have to fight him in a big, epic action scene where you get to see all these characters kind of combine their powers and win. It's really hard to write action scenes, so
It really is.
So then they do manage to do this, and they manage to beat him. And then you get an end credit scene the first one, where Darkseid shows up for the first time and declares that disorder has begun. Looking at a video screen of kind of Felix Faust's kind of the chaos he's causing, and says that that disorder has kind of occurred, and he needs to. It's time to kind of fix the universe. Then there's a second one, which is a little bit funnier, and kind of brings a different tone to Constantine than is kind of being shown throughout, but is kind of there to, I guess, kind of set it up for kind of a future of a little bit of a lighter John Constantine, where he basically captures Faust in a bottle like right after the battle and puts him on his on his kind of like on a mantle in his home as like a
Nice.
trophy,
Nice.
because it kind of, it kind of works. I don't know. It just feels like the right
It's
thing to do.
fun. It's fun. It's a nice way to wrap that up.
The hardest part of this was kind of coming up with the actual story and how they kind of come together and what the purpose is of them coming together, because that's a very hard thing to do, is find the reason for a team to be made.
Right. Yeah, usually it's yeah, and the way DC's gone about it in like Justice League and Snyder Cut and stuff like that, it's been very like it feels rushed. Feels like okay, let's get into the thick of this plot. Let's just quickly find like an inciting incident that'll bring everyone together. It just doesn't feel good. So, yeah,
I feel like the way I kind of ended up structuring this movie in a way of like, let's make this kind of a road trip kind of thing where you're all going together and you're trying to find all these people, and you're going to different places in the DC universe, and you're going to different cities and stuff like Las Vegas, obviously, and wherever Swamp Thing lives in a swamp somewhere. You kind of get all of these different feels, which is kind of fun and also different from like, let's just throw the team together and let's just have them do a whole bunch of stuff, and it's more of a
right.
kind of build up and then you kind of have a fight at the end. I think Felix Faust also is not, in my opinion at least, not a very deep character. Obviously my inspiration for this was Justice League Dark Volume 1 In the Dark, and Justice League Dark, basically all the animated movies, because that was my basis point, and obviously a few
Yeah.
of the Zatanna and Constantine comics I've read and stuff. But primarily for the story, at least, that was those, especially the first Justice League Dark animated movie, which Felix Faust is the villain of.
Right.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I just felt like it was the right way to fix the Justice League brand, hopefully, or at least make people forget about the Snyder version of the brand.
Yeah.
And also it sets up Darkseid, which is awesome, and no one could ever say they don't want Darkseid to get set up.
Darkseid is great, and he needs to be portrayed properly, which he just never is. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, mostly.
well, for the few times we've seen him, which is again a very weird thing to say because he's one of the most popular villains.
Yeah, he should be portrayed more for sure.